The Trump regime has mandated the closure of all federal diversity offices, ordering that employees in these roles be placed on paid administrative leave by Wednesday evening. The directive, which targets diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility programs, marks one of the administration's most sweeping actions against federal diversity initiatives to date. In a memo issued by the U.S. Office of Personnel Management and confirmed by the White House press secretary, department and agency heads were instructed to notify DEIA employees of the immediate change. The directive comes in the wake of two executive orders signed by Donald Trump, both of which aim to dismantle diversity-related policies across the federal government. The first executive order, titled Ending Radical and Wasteful Government DEI Programs and Preferencing, overturns initiatives introduced by President Joe Biden in 2021. These initiatives had sought to institutionalize DEI practices across federal agencies, embedding equity plans into areas ranging from hiring practices to policy making, ensuring that every employee and applicant gets a fair chance. Under the new executive order, all DEI offices, roles, plans, and programs must be dismantled within 60 days. Since the signing of the order, equity plans have been removed from various federal websites, including that of the White House itself. The Trump regime framed the decision as a corrective measure to what it perceives as discriminatory policies. The Biden administration forced illegal and immoral discrimination programs going by the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion to virtually all aspects of the federal government, the executive order claims. Critics say this characterization misrepresents the purpose of DEI, which aims to address systemic inequities and promote fairness. A second executive order signed the following day rescinded long-standing federal equity policies, including a civil rights-era mandate established by President Lyndon B. Johnson that required government contractors to adhere to equal opportunity standards. Trump's order accused influential institutions, ranging from major corporations to law enforcement agencies and universities, of adopting dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preference under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion. The move dismantles decades of federal efforts aimed at ensuring equitable treatment and opportunities within government contracts and hiring. The Trump regime's dismantling of DEI programs reflects a broader cultural debate that has intensified in recent years. DEI policies have become a flashpoint in the so-called culture wars, with conservative and MAGA Republican commentators often framing such initiatives as discriminatory towards groups that historically held dominant positions in American society, namely white male Americans. The cultural clash reached a crescendo in 2023 when the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action in higher education. The decision emboldened conservative groups to mount legal challenges against DEI policies in workplaces, arguing that they unfairly disadvantage certain demographics. Trump's rhetoric during his campaign echoed these sentiments, with the president asserting that there is a definite anti-white feeling in this country. His comments resonated with conservative voters who see DEI initiatives as a threat to traditional meritocratic systems, though critics argue that this perspective completely ignores systemic barriers faced by marginalized and minority communities. While the Trump administration's actions have focused on federal programs, the implications may extend to the private sector also. During his first term, Trump issued an executive order in September 2020 that banned DEI training among private government contractors. The order, however, was swiftly blocked by a federal judge on First Amendment grounds and later overturned by President Joe Biden. Yesterday's executive order stopped short of reinstating a ban on DEI practices in the private sector, likely due to potential legal challenges. However, it directed the Attorney General to explore ways to discourage what it describes as illegal discrimination and preferences, signaling that further action may be forthcoming. Blind supporters of Trump and this decision view it as a rejection of what they perceive as divisive and unnecessary policies, prejudice against white, straight, and able-bodied people. Many conservatives argue that DEI programs impose ideological conformity and result in reverse discrimination rather than fostering genuine inclusivity. In reality, dismantling DEI offices and programs undermines progress towards equity and inclusion in the workplace and the broader society. These programs are essential to addressing systemic inequities and fostering environments where individuals from all backgrounds can thrive. Civil rights advocates have expressed alarm at the rollback of policies that have long served as safeguards against discrimination. This is not just an attack on DEI. This is an attack on the values of fairness and equality that these policies represent. The dismantling of DEI initiatives also raises questions about the federal government's commitment to diversity at a time when the nation is becoming increasingly diverse. Democrats argue that this shift risks alienating marginalized communities and weakening the government's ability to serve a diverse population effectively. The Trump administration's decision to shutter federal DEI offices represents a significant policy shift, one that underscores the heightened tensions surrounding equity and inclusion in the United States. Meanwhile, Trump has signed an executive order temporarily suspending all U.S. foreign assistance programs for 90 days. The suspension allows for a comprehensive review to ensure these programs align with his administration's policy priorities. The immediate impact of the order remains unclear, as many foreign aid programs have already received funding through congressional appropriations. These funds are often legally obligated to be spent, with some potentially already dispersed. In the executive order, one of many signed during Trump's first day back in office, he criticized the current structure of foreign assistance despite knowing nothing about it. In order to further stipulate that no further United States foreign assistance shall be dispersed in a manner that is not fully aligned with the foreign policy of the United States. This sweeping move signals a significant shift in the U.S. approach to international aid, with potential ramifications for global development efforts and international relations, further segregating the United States from the rest of the civilized world. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.